The oldest sales technique in the world isn't convincing someone to buy, it's making them feel like they already own it. Door to door salespeople knew this very well. They wouldn't come to your porch and just stand there and try and sell you a washing machine or a vacuum. They would march that vacuum into your living room, spill some dirt on your carpet, and start cleaning. And then you wouldn't be able to ask them to leave because in your mind, you already own that vacuum. Asking them to leave would feel like you were losing something. That psychological trigger is called the endowment effect. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to increase conversions. Welcome back to another Heart Before Cut episode. Today, I'm going to dive into a new psychological trigger called the endowment effect, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can use it to increase your own conversions and drive more sales, more leads, and more revenue. Okay, so the endowment effect is our tendency to value something more once we feel that it belongs to us. Ownership increases perceived value, even if that ownership is temporary. Years ago, Daniel Kahneman ran a study about the endowment effect. Here's how it worked. The participants were randomly split into two groups. On one side, we had the sellers who were given a mug, and on the others, we had the buyers who were not given a mug. Then the sellers were asked to state the minimum price they would accept to sell this mug. Buyers stated the maximum that they would pay for this mug. The results were really interesting. The sellers demanded roughly 2 times more than the buyer was willing to pay. Same mug, same room, same market. The only difference, perceived ownership. Once someone owned that mug, even as a perceived ownership, they felt like that mug was far more valuable and it should cost a lot more money. That is the endowment effect. Think about it in terms of test driving a car. You weren't actually planning to buy it, you just want to take a look. But once you've sat in the car, adjusted your seat, connected your phone to it to play your music, and then you actually see and feel how it drives. You picture yourself in your driveway or at your home. Now it feels like it's your car already. Actually saying no, walking away from this car suddenly feels like you're losing something because it was yours a minute ago. You were just sitting in that seat. The endowment effect is everywhere. It's all around us. And there are many ways that you can actually use it in marketing to drive more conversions. One of the most popular ways to use this is to actually provide customization and personalization options during the experience before someone has actually converted. So basically, allowing people to customize things before they've paid or before they've signed up. Canva is a really good example where they allow you to completely design your entire banner or your social image or anything that you're working on. And then in order to publish it, you actually have to sign up. One example could be that you are shopping for a new couch or a sofa and you go to a website and they actually invite you to put in the measurements of your living room and even mention what other elements you have in your living room. So essentially, you're now personalizing, building your own living room on this website. And then you can click on different couches to see what they would look like within your actual living room. Now that couch feels like it's already in your home and buying it makes more sense. Another very common example is quizzes. A lot of companies use a quiz to help you personalize your experience. So for example, if you are now shopping for some cosmetics, you could go to a website, fill in a lot of information about yourself, about your skin type, about your hair. And at the end of this quiz, you would get a personalized recommendation of the products that you should buy that are specific to your skin type. The idea is that once you've invested so much in actually personalizing and answering questions for your quiz, now you're getting this amazing recommendation for a product that feels like it was made for you and all you have to do is buy it. Another great example is creating a diagnostic tool to act as a lead magnet. So for example, in the cybersecurity industry, it could be that you're asking people to actually go in and mention their company size, how many people are working there, the industry, the exact tools and the amount of tools that people are using in platforms, and you could get a risk assessment of what the risk is right now for using so many tools within your company. And once you've actually done that and you have your actual diagnostic and your own assessment, you want to act on it because now it's yours and now you know that this company can actually solve for it. So when it comes to providing a customized or personalized experience before the main conversion, the way it looks like is you ask prospects to actually input something, then they see a personalized output, it feels unique to them, and then they want to save it and not lose it, and it's theirs, so they will take the next action and convert. That's the endowment effect. Next, you can leverage the endowment effect by using messaging cues. There are 3 ways to go about it. You can use the word your and then a tangible asset together. You can do future state framing, and you can use language that implies ownership. Let me back up. When it comes to the first, which is using the word your with a tangible asset, the idea here is, as an example, you're saying instead of download this growth template, you're saying claim your custom 2026 growth plan. So we're actually saying this is yours, it's already there, now you can claim it. Or, for example, instead of saying, see your potential savings, you could say, here's your projected $127,000 in annual savings. You're making it about them. This is your projected annual savings. It's very different than just saying, see your potential savings. With future state framing, the idea is that instead of saying, imagine what your dashboard could look like if you only used our product, you can say, this is what your pipeline will look like 90 days from now. So you're giving them ownership by using the word your, but you're also talking about the future. This is what it could look like for you in the future. And then, of course, we have language that implies ownership. So instead of saying start your free trial, you can say activate your workspace. Or instead of saying book a demo, you say see your ecosystem in real time. Instead of saying see pricing, you can say unlock your custom proposal. So when you use certain words and terms, you can actually help people feel like they already own something very tangible within your product or your service. Here's a few more examples of how companies use the endowment effect. For example, when you're configuring your car. So before you've even booked a test drive, on the website, you can choose the color, you can pick the tires that you want to use, you can select the interior, you can adjust your performance options, you can see pricing updates in real time, and it all feels like you already own the actual car. Another great example is by Zillow that allows you to create your home alerts. Essentially, you save the specific properties that you like, you can heart different listings, you can enter your price range, and then you actually get alerts that say a home that you saved just dropped in price. That is incredible because it's already saying you wanted this, you can have it now. HubSpot's famous website grader does something similar. You enter your URL and they generate the website performance report for you. It has your score, it has SEO gaps, it has mobile issues. Now you actually own this report and you need to use HubSpot to actually fix it. Insurance companies do this very well too. You essentially enter so much information about yourself in order to get a customized pricing plan. So the more information that you enter about yourself, the more you feel like you've already invested so much in it, it's already yours, all you have to do is buy. Okay, here's what you should not be doing and what isn't the endowment effect. The endowment effect isn't fake personalization. Slapping someone's first name onto a headline isn't ownership. That's not going to work. Overcomplicated builders. If your customization tool creates a lot of friction and you trigger analysis paralysis instead, basically saying, I can't even do this anymore, it's too much. Ownership should feel really exciting and it shouldn't be exhausting. So if you're giving people too much work to do, they're not going to end up doing it. The other thing that I really dislike is threat-based manipulation. So essentially saying your data will be completely removed or deleted forever if you do not sign up right now. That is manipulation. That's a dark pattern. You don't want to go down there. You're not trying to scare people into feeling ownership or losing something. You're trying to show them what life could potentially look like if they actually owned your product or actually worked with you. So where should you start? The first thing you need to do, as with everything in marketing, is identify the pain. What problem feels personal to them? For example, it's not that they need HVAC. They don't need insurance or that they need better conversions. It's that they're worried that their building will fail inspection. It's that they're anxious about overpaying for coverage or that they're frustrated for not knowing why their funnel isn't converting. So you have to start by answering very simple questions. What decisions are they trying to make? What risk are they trying to avoid? What questions are they stuck on? Once you know the initial pain, then you can create something that will solve one specific part of the pain. You don't have to solve everything. You're creating a partial solution that they can own, just enough to see your value, invest a bit of effort, and that the output will feel specific to them and personalized. The key criteria here is that it requires their input. It produces a very specific outcome. It's framed as theirs already, and it creates forward momentum. One other thing I would highly recommend doing is validating it before you spend too much time on building a whole customized tool. You want to run an A/B test in your next email, asking them different questions. You can even add something very small on your thank you page just to see how people respond. Does it help them see the problem clearly? Does it help them picture the future? Does it require a small effort, or does it create a sense of this is too exhausting and I don't want to do it? So your goal isn't to trick people into feeling like they own something. Your goal is to help them picture what their life would look like and how better it can be using your product, your solution, or your service. And once again, you don't have to build elaborative tools and graders and all sorts of diagnostic tools. Even just reframing your messaging, talking in a certain way, actually connecting people to ownership and using copy that connects them to your product and your offer that feels like they already own it can go a really long way. Thank you so much for listening today. I will see you in our next episode of Heart Before Cart.